Wow. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we'll keep on trying. I don't know what it is because I could see that I was coming through easy on Facebook, but you seem to have frozen. So I don't know, if there's connection issues, Wi-Fi issues, or
Yeah, because there's not on this channel, there's not on Zoom, but obviously clearly there is on Facebook. So I'll have to look into it.
yeah, obviously has to go through various, different kind of, I don't know, loopholes or something like that. I'm just not comfortable. Hold on a second. Let me, this is what our lives, not our lives, but our catch ups are. This is, here we are, we're in our real world, sitting on an uncomfortable chair, and my chair is really hurting me
I
this morning. I don't know what it is.
What is it, Nirvana? You've got ants in your pants. I tell you, I've got terrible sinus, so excuse me, everyone. I feel absolutely like hay fever is gone mad with me the last day or so.
Uh,
So yeah, I'm not feeling 100%.
Oh, shame, my angel. Well, it is, as you can see, I've already starting to have my willies on, and it's definitely cold, and I'm not happy in this cold weather. I just want to hibernate,
Mm.
and wake up when the sun is hot.
Yes, you're going into your hibernation time. Ready? Have you got plenty of nuts that you've been squirreling away?
Well, I'm a big squirrel. I've got lots of things squirreling over here. So, how are you? I mean, besides your sinus, Claire, and how are you doing?
Yeah, I have to say I've had a strange week this week. I know it's been the full moon, and I am completely aware of the impact that this particular moon in Scorpio actually has on everybody. And it sort of really raises the trigger.
Mm,
In fact, that's exactly what it does. Is it kind of brings the triggers to the light of the moon, and like we've discussed before, it does give you a chance to then look in and sort of verbalize what is going on for you. So I'm very aware of how that's impacted me this
mm.
week, but I've also had a lot of other things going on regarding triggers as well, which yeah, I'm not frightened of them. That's the thing, Nirvana. I sort of face them head on, and I just speak into them.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's kind of where I've been at this week.
it has
So
been it has been a powerful full moon. And still we're still in the energy of that moon, and the sun being in Taurus, and the moon being in Scorpio. And
mm,
there's a lot that's under the floorboards, or in the
mm,
underworld, that's coming out, and it's that has to come out. And there's so many things in alignment at the moment, astrologically, that people can't remain where they once were. The past is the past, and we can remember it in a fond way, like a bad relationship. Once the bad relationship is gone, you just remember all those beautiful, nice things. So we can remember fondly of some of the things that's happened, even though they were bad things. But we can't have the past back. We are literally forced into a new way of being, and creating, in a different way. That industrial age is gone. But I know we're not here to talk about the moon and the moon energies, but it is literally, it's shaking us into
it
those
is.
triggers, into a new thing. But yeah, so I think we're continuing. I'm still wriggling on my chair. um, we continuing a little bit on the triggers, kind of, let's say, part two on triggers, but going into where the energy systems in our body. And so we thought we'd talk about the chakras a little bit. So
Mm,
I was thinking about, how we can quickly run through some of the fundamentals or foundations of the chakras. And I was wondering if you wanted to do that, or if you wanted me to do that, or you do it and I'll add to it, or whichever way. I mean, we never script these things beforehand, right? We just kind of wriggle on our chairs and see what comes.
Well, I tell you what, Nirvana, you kind of talk into it, and then I'll have a piece on each to add if there's anything I feel I need to add after you so eloquently have said your piece. So that's that. That's what I feel is going to work this morning.
No problem, no problem. Okay, so for me, the chakra system, and in the one of the circles that we belong to, the lady spoke about the 8 chakra systems. So I've always only really based on the 7 most basic ones. Now, you know, there is the pineal gland, which she spoke about, but I normally look at those major ones. I mean, we've got so many more on our fingertips and our pulses and things like that. So there's a heaps of chakra energy system, vortex systems that we have in our bodies. But if you look at the alignment of our body, we start with the base chakra. The base chakra, the root chakra, which is sort of between the anus and you know the vagina or the penis, if you wish, you know, it's just that little chomi area in the center. We call it the chomi area. That's where your base chakra is, right? And that's the red chakra. Now, for me, the red chakra, which is connected to red jasper, any of the reddish stones, crystal stones, that's got that kind of red energy into it, bloodstone even, and that connects you to your tribe, to your ancestors, to your family, to your place in the world, your root chakra, connecting you to earth. So if your root chakra has got something that's damaged, then we've got to look at where in your family didn't you have support. Like that's where your support in your family, in your, you know, in your tribe comes from. Shall I go into the second one, or do you want to add into the red one?
Yeah, I'd like to add a little bit, if I may, and just say that obviously when the root chakra is out of balance, because all of the chakras vibrate at different energy levels and respond to different musical notes. So I think that the root is C. I'm not completely sure. I need to re-educate myself on them. I know that the heart chakra is F. So what you can do in order to get your chakra in alignment is to get some little bells or just to find that note and just kind of sing into that. You know, and obviously using an oil like frankincense. Frankincense is an amazing grounding oil for the root chakra. It's a beautiful oil. And if you consecrate the oil, so you kind of say a prayer into it, which can be anything that you feel you want to talk about. It can be a prayer for the universe that you're putting into the oil, and then just anoint the area, you know, of the root chakra to sort of try and kind of pick it back up and focus on it balancing.
And yeah,
sorry, go on.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Claire. Finish that point, please.
No, I was just going to say, try and keep it in a clockwise direction with the oil, so that you're kind of moving it around in a clockwise direction, and imagine the vortex like a funnel sort of spinning as you're doing that sort of process.
Yeah, 100%. And I did lots of energy healing and hands of light healing. And so there's also kind of a way that you can use your hands over the area to kind of spin it again if it's a little bit blocked. But I think below that, if we kind of just maintain on the base chakra, but I think to do with all the chakras, we actually have to find out why is it blocked. You know, and clear that part. And it might be like an onion. It might not be something that you can do like just with one discussion or with one healing, or, you know, but you have to go to the root of the problem. Like, why is that blocked, or why am I, you know, and your root chakra is not really connected to your sexuality, because that is your sacral chakra. The root chakra is maybe, you know, why am I disconnected from my family, or why am I, you know, feeling like alone? What is those parts of things and events that happened in your life that is blocking, you know, your safety, that you don't feel safe?
Absolutely. And I just want to add to that, which is a very important point, is that when you are dealing with your root chakra, you need to speak into your inner child, because the inner child has the kind of deep messages of the root chakra, particularly because, as you spoke about it, Nirvana, you know, it deals with your lineage, your heritage, your family viewpoint, the age in which you've lived, and the society's viewpoint, the sort of the collective consciousness and where that was at the time. And so there, in every single one of us, there is a screaming angry child needing attention on whatever level it is. Even if you think you've had the most perfect childhood, there's a screaming angry child that somehow needs to be heard, needs to be loved, and needs attention. So if I was kind of going to do a sort of session with somebody regarding the root chakra, I would certainly be looking into those particular areas of you know, how that person was feeling and that inner child work, because I think it's really, really important.
And you know what I'm noticing now, and I'm trying to make myself notes with my left hand, can you believe it? But what I'm noticing is that we could actually do a catch up on each chakra. Like, really, let's focus on the root chakra right now, because I think there's so much more here. Because within the triggers, which is the kind of overhead, and then within the triggers, that's where the triggers really start developing, right? That's where the belief systems really start. What we, as you say, somebody got more sweets in our previous catch up, you know, somebody might have gotten more sweets. And now we've got this belief in our root chakra that starts from that early age. That is where, as you said, everything really starts, right?
And of course, what happens, I believe, as well at that point, and I mean, obviously we're using a very sort of mild example of the sweet situation, but that starts a belief, and then your mind, you're kind of almost projecting that belief outwards, and then other things that then happen add to that belief. Oh, well, my teacher prefers so and so at school, or whatever that may be, and that starts attaching to the belief that you're not as good as everybody else. And it can be quite simple ways that some of these beliefs start, but obviously the people that are involved, that sort of kind of give you your belief system, whether it's your parents or your teachers or your friends and peer group or whatever, you know, lineage is down hundreds of years. I mean, when you think back about how many great grandparents we've had, that's an enormous impact, and that's just going back that far in generations. That's an enormous impact on our root chakra. And so we do need to look at the rage of this inner child, because it's legitimate. It really is legitimate, and it must be honored in order to be able to progress on and clear some of these wounds that we've had that have impacted us as little people.
Yeah. And you know, it's again, it just so overwhelmingly huge, because if we think about, I as a mother, you know, think about all the things I didn't know. Look, I tried my best. I knew that I didn't want my children to have the pain and the fear and the angst that I had as a child. So I probably was a little bit too overprotective, little too, you know, too much in a way. And but we don't know, when we have these children, that we are creating these belief systems. And as you said, it could be a teacher, it could be a friend, or it could just be, you know, it just depends on when does that shock come into the system. And as we are aware as adults, and we have young people in our lives now, maybe a grandmother, or you are a mother, and looking at how we say things, or how we can help children when they are in their triggers, or when they are having things like, you know, speak more to children about what has upset them, and what have they misunderstood. And of course, now as adults, as you're saying, we need to have an inner child conversation, and release those belief systems, because they can really run us.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, they come from the wounds of our parents, particularly. You know, if we've had, I mean, our mothers, you know, they are again just kind of victims. I hate using that word, but they are they've had their own wounds. You know, my mother was shot at in the Second World War, walking home from school. Wow, what a wound for an 8-year-old child to have. So that kind of fear impacted her so deeply that in actual fact, when I look back on her wounding, bless her, that then impacted me. That projection of that life or death threat that impacted her nervous system so profoundly. And as we know now, the vagus nerve, which is a complex kind of a nerve that runs through the body and can have such an impact on the way we are dealing with our day-to-day life and our fight, flight, foe, and what's going on those levels. And I mean, that wound impacted her so greatly, which then impacted me greatly, but I didn't know why. I didn't know why I felt scared of life or why I was frightened of walking down the street. But that I didn't, because the information wasn't passed on, but the impact in the body was, which of course then goes back to the chakras.
Yes, and going back to the chakras, which as I say, let's stay on base, and we can go on the next one on the next week. But also because we're in the base chakra and we're also dealing with the 4 bodies, right? The mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, which is the MEPS map to what's going on in our body, in our physiology. So here we are in our base chakra. It is a very physical kind of a energy, if you want. But absolutely, then we can bring in more of it's also quite emotional, I would say, because we kind of, that's where we then get our triggers from. But we bring a bit more love and spirit into that, and release the ideas, the mental ideas, and kind of find out what energy of the MEPS are we in our base chakra. So are we too much thinking about all the shit that's happened, or are we too emotional about, what is it, where is it, and how can we balance to bring that into a balance, release some of that stuff that we're overthinking or overfeeling, or, like some people in their physical part of the base chakra. I know, like for years with my family, I just kept away from them because I didn't feel part of them, right? So that's, so I mean, we need to balance those 4 bodies within each chakra as well.
So if we spoke into that, if you were in a therapy session and we spoke into that, that let's speak into that chakra and actually ask the chakra itself what the message is, because therein lies the answers. And obviously on here we can't kind of do that, but in a one-to-one session we can talk right into that. Because the thing is that the base chakra is all about safety, and fundamentally, in order to heal anything, we have to feel safe. We have to feel that what the space that we're standing in on this planet Earth, on Mother Earth, on Gaia, being held by her, feels safe. Because if we then create safety, we have then got the foundation to build on the rest of the journey,
up
and clear those feelings, on that level of safety. Because boundaries, I feel, are how you keep yourself safe, by having certain boundaries that you don't allow other people to cross, or you don't cross. You think, okay, I go this far and then I have to say no. And that's all part of the base chakra work, because the boundaries are an expression of inner authority. So when we feel that we have this inner authority, we feel safe because we've created it. So when we're with parents that maybe haven't made us feel safe, or haven't supported us in a situation where we haven't felt safe for whatever reason, we then can't give that safety in ourselves. So we need to really build on that inner authority in ourselves, which is all part of the root chakra work.
Absolutely. And it can also go to the extreme where you didn't feel safe, and then you become the bully, right? Or or like me, I became passive aggressive because I didn't have the ability to stand up or fight or have, speak what was happening in the world. So I had to develop this passive aggressive way of surviving. And and there's so many ways that we can really start by just looking at that base, at that foundation of our being coming into this earth, and where everything really originates from that base chakra, and see how we can clear it, open it up like the lotus flower, because you must remember each one of these is connected to a petal of a lotus flower that we can open up and open up, so that when we come to the crown chakra, we can just be completely open to spirit, to source, and to our higher self.
Yeah, and of course, what vibrational energy did we actually were we born with? Were we actually manifest into this world with? What vibrational energy was that?
Exactly.
Was it on the love vibration of 500? Was it below? Because the thing is, we all have to work on these things so we can evolve our vibrational energy, so we can open up our chakras,
That's
so
right.
that we can feel alive rather than feel that we're existing. And when we really feel alive, it's such a different feeling. I mean, I guess that for me, I may come across as being a bit aggressive because I am so much in my own boundary of authority. But it's not to do with aggression. It's just to do with the fact that I am happy to speak my truth. And so if people misconstrue that as aggression, then I have to leave that with them.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And that is their stuff. And I know if somebody comes too harshly at me, for instance, I know that that's where I would go, oh my God, I can't deal with that aggression. It's because of my own childhood. It's because there was so much aggression in my childhood that I can't deal with it. But thank God I've never actually experienced you as aggression. Claire, let's have a end of question that you would like to post to our audience regarding the base chakra, and how we can explore that to help healing.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so what I'd ask people is that from what we've talked about of some of the aspects of the base chakra, can you resonate to any of the things that we've discussed? Are you able to lean in and feel that energy right down in the seat of your pants, if you like? The saying, you fly by the seat of your pants. It's almost like you're winging it. But if you've got a strong base chakra, you can actually hold and support yourself in so many ways in doing that. So, I'd just like to say, is there any way that any of you feel into the sort of unsafeness of having a base chakra, that you don't feel that you're is supporting the rest of your humanity then? I guess you can put it more eloquently than me, Nirvana, but you know what I'm trying to say.
No, you are totally eloquent, my dear. For me, of course, which I'm, the things that I'm always passionate about is, especially now during all the stuff that's happening in the world, the scamdemic, pandemic, stuff. The base chakra is where it goes first, because that is, what am I going to do? I'm not having an income. I might lose my home. That's all based in the base chakra, right? The fear, the unsafety. So this is a really good time to talk into that fear, and to maybe help look at what is the base cause, besides watching mainstream media and all of the stuff, but what is in you? What are you afraid of dying of? What is the fear really fundamentally?
What do you need to express? Do you really feel into what's going on? Do you want to step outside and see it from a different perspective? Do you feel like you're being swept along in it all? What do you need to express? What do you need to explore?
Exactly.
Because it's unpacking that flower, as you say, that lotus flower. You're unpacking it, and you're kind of just looking into that, and you're thinking, okay, well, I don't know at the moment because I haven't looked into it, so I do need to explore it. Because there may be something that you need to find about yourself that's that's not somebody else's idea, that's not somebody else's opinion. It's actually your own light.
Yep, exactly. So how can people get hold of us?
Okay, so trying to get on live was a nightmare, but you know what, we'll get there. So yeah, Facebook at MEPSology, and our YouTube channel MEPS, Clare Nirvana, Nirvana and Clare. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and please do comment if there's anyone who would like to chat to us one-on-one. We are happy to share with you and to help explore, you know, whichever chakra you might be in, but let's focus on the base chakra for now, and then next week we'll go on to the sacral chakra, right?
very powerful feminine energy in that, for sure. So that could be an interesting chat.
Yep. Great. So at MEPSology, follow us, like us, please share, and I would love to have your feedback and comments, and we are happy to journey through this chakra system with you, right?
Absolutely. What a journey that will be.
Great. Thank you, Claire. It's nice to catch with you and catch up with you, and we'll catch up next week.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Nirvana. You take care and have a good week. Bye, everybody.